Welcome to Systems and Symptoms, the podcast where we deconstruct modern power one contradiction at a time. I'm your host, Fatima. Today's episode: Contradictions in the Classroom, Social Justice, and the Children of the Elite. In an age of climate protests, social movements, and global demands for equity, you might be surprised where some of the loudest voices for justice come from: elite private schools and wealthy families. But when we scratch the surface, a question emerges. What happens when the children of capital learn the language of anti capitalism? Let's explore. First, let's define our terms. Social justice education refers to a pedagogy rooted in challenging oppression and inequality. It draws on frameworks like critical race theory, feminism, and Marxism. The idea is not just to teach students about injustice, but to empower them to dismantle unjust systems. Theoretically, this kind of education should shake the foundations of elitism. Think Paulo Freire's pedagogy of the oppressed, bell hooks, teaching to transgress. These aren't just academic books, they're manifestos for social liberation. But in elite settings, the radical potential of these theories is often defanged. Concepts are taught, yes, but abstractly, detached from the student's own economic privilege. Privilege itself becomes a vocabulary word, not a lived reality. Now let's discuss the elite school environment. Elite schools today market themselves as inclusive, globally aware, and progressive. But their core mission hasn't changed: to maintain social capital. Courses on race, gender, and inequality exist not to redistribute power, but to refine it. A student at a $50,000 a year boarding school may write a brilliant essay on systemic racism while preparing to intern at their father's hedge fund. The language of justice becomes another tool of distinction. The schools don't transform students into revolutionaries. They train them to speak the dialect of justice fluently, all while maintaining their class position. Social justice becomes not a threat to their power, but a costume it can wear. Now, philanthropy and performative activism. Let's talk about the volunteer trips to Africa or Central America or urban centers in need. A hallmark of elite education is the service learning experience. A 2 week trip to build a school, clean a beach, or tutor underprivileged children. These are then translated into college application essays about empathy and awareness. But these experiences rarely confront the roots of global inequality. They teach students to help, not to question the systems that produce need. The children of the 1% are socialized to be benevolent managers of the world's pain, not co conspirators in justice. Their parents call this character building. The brand of wokeness. Now let's enter the workplace. Where do these socially conscious graduates go? To Google, to McKinsey, to venture capital. Many build impact focused startups or run philanthropic foundations. They fund climate tech while investing in fossil fuels. They speak at panels about gender diversity but underpay women in their organizations. Their worldview allows both: to critique systems rhetorically while benefiting from them structurally. This is the essence of liberal capitalism, absorbing critique to preserve the core. Meet Julian, Julian attends a progressive private school in New York City. He studies intersectionality by day and eats sushi in a penthouse by night. In his junior year, he volunteers with a housing justice nonprofit. He tweets about land back and reads Franz Fanon. By 25, Julian is in real estate. He develops eco conscious luxury condos. He still posts infographics about indigenous rights on Instagram. When asked, he describes himself as anti capitalist. Julian is not a paradox. He is the product of a system working exactly as intended. Imagine a fake ad. Want to maintain generational wealth while appearing socially conscious? Try Woke Light. It comes with all the language of revolution and none of the sacrifice. Woke Light because why burn the system when you can brand it? Yes, it's a satire. But like all good satire, it cuts close. There's nothing wrong with teaching kids about justice. In fact, it's essential. But when that education is packaged within elite systems, it risks becoming another form of insulation. So, what's the alternative? We need to stop confusing fluency in justice rhetoric with a commitment to change. Real transformation will not come from polished institutions, but from coalitions grounded in solidarity, humility, and lived struggle. We must ask who is willing to give something up. Thanks for listening to Systems and Symptoms. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who still thinks equity can be taught in a $60,000 school. You can subscribe to my channel, Asan Meals. Until next time, stay awake, stay critical, and remember not all revolutions wear uniforms, some wear Patagonia.